On a rewatch of the very first episode of My Little Pony, I've noticed some things. Told it's unfair considering that this was the first episode and we haven't been in 4 seasons yet, but looking at it with all 4 seasons in mind, there's some things that I notice. 1. Some of Twilight's Canterlot friends follow her to Ponyville and become permanent background characters. However, 4 seasons in, we still know absolutely nothing about Moondancer, except that her birthday's apparently in the summer. Next, we have Lyra appearing for her first time in the background, but she's not hanging around Bon Bon. Why, Lyra, why? Why are you not hanging around Bon Bon? Why are you cheating on her? Next observation is that Pinkie Pie doesn't bring Twilight the welcome wagon. Upon meeting Cranky Doodle, Pinkie insists that she always brings the welcome wagon and sings the welcome song to any new face who arrives in Ponyville. When she sees Twilight, she just gasps and disappears. No welcome wagon, no welcome song, just a and she's gone off to throw a surprise party. Speaking of that surprise party, there's absolutely no reason the rest of the main ponies should be at this surprise party. While it's true that Rainbow Dash and AJ could have been there, there's absolutely no reason Fluttershy and Rarity would have shown up for this party, considering that Twilight just left Rarity's house and immediately ran into Fluttershy and has been walking with Fluttershy along the entire route towards the party. And when she got to her house, she kicked Fluttershy out of her house so that she could be alone. Therefore, Fluttershy was not at the party that Pinkie Pie was throwing, nor would a shy pony like Fluttershy, especially in Season 1, have shown up to a party. Rarity also could not have been at this party because she was back in her boutique working on stuff and Twilight had just left it. We at no time saw Rarity walk past Twilight on the way to Twilight's home, which is where she immediately went after leaving both Rarity and Fluttershy. AJ and Rainbow Dash, on the other hand, could have made it to the party, since they were left behind long ago and had plenty of time to make it to Twilight's house while the story was taking us to Rarity and Fluttershy. However, it's more likely for Rainbow Dash to show up at a party than it is for Applejack, just based on personality. Rainbow Dash would of course love a good party now and then, although even in ripping the brush off, she doesn't particularly like Pinkie Pie this early in the series. Also, Applejack is too busy working on the farm to have time for parties, especially during Season 1, and considering how distant the main characters are prior to Twilight's arrival. So technically, the entire main 6 should not be at this party at all. It should be just Twilight, Pinkie Pie, and assorted background characters, including the ones who left Moondancer's birthday party and stalked Twilight from Canterlot to Ponyville for some reason. Next observation is Casanova is canon. Twilight calls Spike a Casanova, and that word only exists in our English language because of an Italian adventurer and author from 1725, famous for his complicated and elaborate affairs with women. This character is apparently canon in Ponyverse. Otherwise, the name would not exist in their vocabulary. This is actually also the first meeting of the CMC, even though they appear to not know each other in their next first appearance. So we see Spike having one of his fainting spells. I wonder how often over the run of the entire series Spike has fainted. Gibbon, get on it. This is also the first instance of Rainbow Dash getting her tail pulled. My final observation of this episode is that meeting Nightmare Moon must be about as startling to ponies as meeting Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or a leprechaun and then finding out that they are evil and want to take over the world. Can you just imagine the reactions? It's no wonder these ponies don't automatically assume that this is the Nightmare Moon in their presence. On the other hand, since Nightmare Moon is a holiday icon as established in the Nightmare Night episode, Luna Eclipsed, it's a wonder that none of these ponies actually say, gee, you look kind of like our holiday icon Nightmare Moon, but that can't be possible, she's just fictional. You'd think that even as a fictional character, Nightmare Moon would have had a little more notoriety, especially considering that her statue is right there in the Everfree Forest. Although maybe nobody goes in there and no one's been celebrating Nightmare Night until just recently. But still, you'd think that with something like Nightmare Night, Nightmare Moon's likeness would have been in the imaginations of ponies everywhere. From this point on, there aren't that many observations that stick out into my mind until we get to Ticketmaster, when Hawaii becomes canon thanks to Spike briefly dressing up in the Hawaiian outfit when he and Twilight are pretending to be mannequins while they do that Benny Hill sequence. Is also further canon in the fourth season when Weird Al's song mentions Hawaiian shirts during Cheese Sandwich's introduction to himself as a character. Anyhow, if I find any more observations while rewatching old episodes, I'll be sure to make a note of it. Until next time, thank you for watching and good night.